Hi everyone, I'm Amber. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a little bit, but we're back. And we're kicking it off with a movie review. This is Puppy Love, and it had Grant Gustin and Lucy Hale, and it premiered on Amazon. I really liked the movie, and I thought they were like an interesting pairing to put together. I've never seen them in something together. And I think separately they're both amazing actors. They're two of my favorite actors. And obviously I've seen them both in different things. Grant Gustin, I've seen him like in The Flash. Lucy, I've seen her in Pretty Little Liars and singing movies and other stuff. I think she has a very broad range of things that she has done and that she can do. Grant Gustin, I have seen YouTube videos of him on Glee. Obviously, they're both singers. They both sound great, which I think they should have taken more advantage of in this movie, just saying. But that being said, I really think that there's certain qualities to their acting that was not taken advantage of in this movie. I think that they are both such unique actors that I would have loved to seen that played to the max in this movie, and I feel like it fell short a little bit. This movie was very much like a Lifetime Netflix cheesy like love movie. And that's fine. I mean, it was a good movie, but I just feel like these actors have so much, in them, and I would have definitely taken advantage of that. Especially like because they've never done a movie together, and I think that it would have been really beautiful to like seeing how exactly, those dynamics play on the screen. And I think it would have been really great, just because they are so different, but also there's certain similarities in like their singing and their humor. And Grant, I feel like, is in a lot of ways very nerdy and geek in great ways. And I feel like Lucy like kind of like shows off like that bad girl kind of energy and everything, and they did do that, but I just felt like it could have been done and used a lot more. So I would love to see another movie with them. But like I said, this movie was good. And so it's about two individuals who coincidentally I thought like they were gonna have the dogs already, but they gained the dogs literally a few days before they met one another. And then for Grant, like I love how it was very current. Like COVID had just happened. He was very like OCD. He had like a lot of anxiety, which totally relatable and was such a unique, I think, character. He's always played like the nerdy character, like I mentioned before, but this one I think stretched it. And it was very interesting. How he was so anxious and he was more of like a homebody. He couldn't like really go to work. He would like make it to the driveway and then he couldn't get out of his car. But then like I feel like he could go like to the park and go and do other things and go like shopping, and I feel like those were necessities, but I feel like it was kind of weird because he wouldn't even go like to work. And I feel like if work is somehow a trigger, like, or your work is somehow something that you can do, there has to be reasons behind it. It has to be reasons why like you would be able to go to the grocery store and not to work. So I kind of wanted to see like more as to like why there's a distinguishing factor between these two things, or these things, because he was able to go out to certain places and was able to not to other places. But I feel like work was very much like a trigger for him because it was something that he did before, and like I said, going to like the market is like a necessity. But I think it was kind of contradictory, just kind of how they presented it, and yeah, I would have liked to know more. And Lucy Hale's character, very much like, not the bad girl, but like she's typically like, and good for her because she like owns it. But I think they play too much on the fact that she's too selfish. She only thinks about herself. She's really messy. I've seen that character from her so many times. I've also seen her play like a shyish character at least once. But I just feel like they've always like done that with her. It's been done. So I kind of felt like they like took things from other movies and were just like, she's super messy, she's this, she's that, and I was just like, maybe we could have like done this type of character, but just a little bit different. But anyway, yeah, I think they overdid the selfish aspect too. And I get that it was such a primary thing in the movie, but it just felt like it was exceedingly overdone, for the sake of the movie that Grant's character, his name is Max, was extremely OCD, extremely anxious, and then she was extremely like selfish and everything. So he would have outbursts because like of anxiety and like too much, and like she wouldn't understand, and she would just kind of do her thing and be messy. And then she was like again doing her thing and being messy and not respecting the fact that it was his house that she was staying at. And those were the things that they needed to work on, and the things that like, you know, drove them apart. But I just feel like we focus too much on those things rather than other aspects of their personality that, you know, I think really did make them like each other. And I think the movie focused too much on their differences. And yes, like they fell for each other because of the similarities that they had, because of the good traits that they had. That was very clear. But you mainly remember from the movie that they were just two different people, and then they ended up making it work. So, I think that, you know, Lucy's character, her name's Nicole. She was also like caring and giving. Like she took in this stray dog, and she like, you know, had it like in her apartment, even though like she knew she could be evicted. And she like eventually gave Max like the bill for like her half of the bill for the vet that one day that they went. Like she is considerate. She does think about certain things. And some things she doesn't. So I think that like again, maybe specifying what things she doesn't like have those qualities for, and what things she is selfish for and why. I think that Max had a very good backstory with like, you know, the girl leaving him and then COVID and everything. And I feel like Lucy's character, which is kind of, she was the way she was. She did have a backstory, and you know, she did like, because her dad like had cancer and everything, and she had to take care of him. And then she didn't get into what she wanted, but that doesn't really explain too much why. It explains why she's guarded, but why is she like selfish? Is it because like, you know, she didn't get what she wanted before, and now she's doing everything she can to live the best life that she wants? Like, good for you, but like, you know, obviously there are certain things we need to like tweak on this, you know, because it has gone astray. So I like that they gave them both backstories, but I just feel like Max has just kind of made more sense to certain aspects of his personality, whereas Nicole's made sense in why she wasn't pursuing her dreams. And I like that they both brought up the besting each other. And then like we took advantage of the fact that Grant could sing. Like, I mean, it wasn't the best I've ever heard him. I know he can like sound so much more amazing. But it was cute. It was cute. And but I kind of wanted them to do like something together, you know. She did sing at one point, but that was like when she was drunk and doing karaoke. We had to like use some of her voice. But yeah, so his thing was that he wanted to pursue music and that he didn't. And her thing was she wanted to pursue art, but she didn't because her dad was sick and everything. And then her mom, like, oh my goodness, like her mom and her sister, like they, ugh, like that was like rough. That was like things thrown at her left and right. Yeah, just like a really toxic environment that she puts up with, and like the fact that she took care of her dad, like doesn't really matter. They're just kind of like, and like it's more sort of like she didn't pursue like what she was good at, and oh, like boo-hoo her, like, but she didn't do it, like, and it's really sad. And then like Max's parents are like all hippies and living like in like a trailer home with like all these like fancy lawn gnomes and like gadgets and stuff outside, and I'm like, this house is amazing. And yeah, and so he's going to like therapy on like Zoom or like an online method, and he basically, his therapist made me laugh. The one when she starts mimicking, I thought it was overdone at some point, but like when she starts mimicking him, I was just like, man, like is she going like for it? And then she suggests, oh, you should get a dog, and like, okay, great. But then like literally like a day or two after he gets a dog, she's like, oh, you should date, and I'm like, he needs to have the dog. Speaking of dogs, he should have the dog, I think, a little bit longer, because like you're just kind of throwing stuff at him now and telling him to do stuff where it's like it should be more gradual. Do you want to do the puppy love trailer with me? Come here. No? Okay. Um, and so yeah, they both got their dogs like literally like days or so before meeting each other, and then they use Bumble, which is, it's hilarious because like I'm all too familiar with Bumble, and then like they, you know, post pictures of each other, of one another with their dogs and everything, and then like they match, and then suddenly they're like gonna go on a date. I don't even know, like they should spend some time talking, I think, but I think that kind of like will ruin the fact that, you know, they obviously don't know a lot about each other and they're very different. And then she feeds him like ghost pepper wings, and like he is just all sorts of like anxious and like no, like this and that, and there's rules, and I'm just like, the whole interaction, I'm just like, oh my god, and I'm laughing, and then obviously the dogs skedaddle, and I would notice that my dog like that they just went, and there's a lot of times when the dog just went, and I was just like, they're off leash, like hello. And then when Chloe ended up in all the way in the park in the rain, and I was like, Chloe, and I'm like, okay, this girl, like, she pregnant, but she like doing all sorts, she's having the best time of her life. But yeah, I thought it was just a funny interaction. And then obviously like the doctor was just not knowledgeable. Like if it wasn't somehow like they didn't realize, I would have preferred a more professional doctor, but the funniness I think added to the movie. But yeah, he was just like making jokes left and right and everything. And then yeah, Chloe pregnant, puppies. He's like, oh, you know, they should have play dates because they seem to care about it one another. They've seen to bond, to have bonded, and then turns out that Channing Tatum, which is the name of the dog, can't stay with Nicole anymore, so he moves in, and then because he can't be without Nicole at that point, she moves in, takes advantage of Max's space and everything, but then they like end up like, you know, having moments with one another. I think like their romance, like things about that they liked about each other and everything, was kind of just like washed out. Like you couldn't exactly tell what things they enjoyed about each other, but you can tell that they enjoyed time with one another. I would have liked more like moments where they were just kind of like doing things for one another, or they noticed things. Like it was very small, very minuscule. They spend more time fighting, and then he kicks her out, and then automatically misses her because she brings home a guy, and obviously he has feelings for her at this point. And then the scene where he kisses her, like after telling the story, like it just was like too soon. Like no, like why are we doing this? We can tell you're developing feelings for her, but like okay. And then she's still cool with it. And then her friends, I hate that her friends make fun of him, even though when they've spent time with him already, I'm like, you're just tolerating him because like of what's happening. Like what is that gonna feel like once you actually, like, you know, she's in a relationship with him and starts hanging out with him. And then oh my goodness, I love like Max's boss and like him being like also his best friend. I wanted to know how that like relationship started. They might have glazed over it, but I don't know. And like he is just so like, he is like his best friend, his caretaker, watches out for him, but also like is his source of employment and like is there for him. Like they're dynamic, they're just so great. I love him. The fact that he ended up though kind of like hitting on like Nicole's mom at the end though was interesting, but he'd also used kind of like the little skills that he was telling Max to use with Nicole, so that was kind of funny. But that whole care. He was great. He was great. So yeah, and then they have the puppies while going to Nicole's interview because she gets the interview for the school she wants to go to. And then I think it was so cute when Max like submitted like her portfolio and like she got in. Like that was adorable. Like yes, goals to the upteenth extreme. And yeah, and then they ended up having like a house party, and I thought it was so cute that they're like, take off your shoes, put on hand sanitizer, and then welcome in. It was so adorable. But at that point, like, you know, you can see that he got comfortable with things because of her, and she was able to like put down some walls because of him. And it just, I think it was such a cute movie. And they had like the puppies right there outside the school, and like the kids were like watching. Oh my goodness, it was funny, it was cute. And yeah, I really liked it. So that's my review. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye.